Hey there guys, Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth, and as you can see here, the CNN just put out an editorial calling for a North American Union, or more specifically a North American passport, which as we know is clearly setting the stage for a larger political economic union. Now people are often throwing around the term conspiracy theorist because I've been concerned about this hypothetical union for years now, which has yet to be fully implemented. And it's certainly a good thing that it hasn't been. I think it's our work and the work of many others who are actually making a positive change. If our film United We Fall hadn't been released in 2008, or if PFT and other independent media outlets weren't talking about the North American Union, well, it's quite possible that by now we'd all have these North American passports, probably chipped and using the Amero, the fiat currency that's supposed to be shared between Mexico, the United States, and Canada. But that's just one reason why I believe the NAU hasn't been pushed quite as hard as the elites would like it to be. Our work and those who have been supporting us have actually been making a difference. And the other thing about the NAU being just theory and no fact is that a lot of the aspects of the NAU are already implemented. It's literally just a name change and some mergers with the currency and administrations that need to be accounted for. But the trade agreements like the SPP and the North American Free Trade Agreement, all the real nitty-gritty details that fuse the US and Canada establishments together, they're all already completely set in place. So with the CNN editorial, what is their rationale for this North American passport? Well, take a look here. Basically their premise, it states that the United States, Canada, and Mexico are bound by a shared economic, environmental, demographic, and cultural destiny. How we move forward together is key to our success. There's a world of difference between the economies of the three countries, and actually even within the three countries. Case in point is the difference between the province of Alberta and Ontario. Alberta is obviously dependent on energy, particularly oil, while at the same time, Ontario tries to just prompt up its fledgling manufacturing sector. And Alberta would obviously benefit from a stronger currency, as we all would, but Ontario, at the same time, is persistent in ensuring that the Bank of Canada just keeps the value of the loonie below par with the American dollar. So, even within our own country, there's these economic factors that are not even shared amongst us here in Canada. And this is just one example. Obviously, there's also the case with the BC pipelines. British Columbians are being told that this is the only path to prosperity out here, where clearly cannabis legalization, in my opinion, and I mean actual legalization, not the crony capitalist partial legalization that Justin Trudeau's Liberal Party is going for. I'm talking about actual legalization would serve BC's economy and rejuvenate entrepreneurships far more than any kind of pipelines would, and it's not anything that the people in this province actually want anyways. And of course, this is just the beginning. CNN here also thinks that Canada, the US, and Mexico have a shared environmental destiny. Of course, anyone who's ever flown from, say, Edmonton, Alberta to Acapulco, Mexico in January knows that this is just completely ridiculous that we share the same kind of environment. Unless, of course, they're talking about the menacing threat of climate change and the need for global, centralized status solutions. Well, then yeah, in that regards, we're pretty much in the same boat. But then there's this demographic destiny that we all apparently share as well. And once again, if you compare, say, Edmonton, Alberta to Acapulco, Mexico, well, you're going to see some very, very different demographics. And again, even sanctions on this country alone have different demographics that aren't being shared amongst us here. And then, of course, there's this ridiculous premise that Mexico, the U.S., and Canada have a shared cultural identity. Well, I just don't see how anyone can believe this. Not only does Mexico have its own very proud history, as we all do, but as well, the United Empire Loyalists founded English Canada. And without these loyalists opposing the American Revolution and fleeing north, without this direct opposition to American republicanism, there wouldn't even be a Canada today. There'd still be a Quebec, a Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland, but Upper Canada would basically never have ceased to exist, and the Confederation would have never even happened. You see, Canada's identity as a nation does have its roots in anti-Americanism. Now, I'll agree here where they say how we move forward together is key to our success. But I just disagree completely with the conclusions. Obviously, the best way to move forward together, in my opinion, is through individual liberty, by ending the wars and ending the central banks, not just trusting politicians or giving over consent to them and to this system. But that is not what CNN is trying to say here. CNN prefers that we create this North American passport. Well, good luck with that. The Canadian passport is really a highly sought possession these days. Ever since the Americans have created so many enemies around the world, Canadians have really come to love their slave document that allows them to travel abroad. And disregarding Canadian pride over our passports is not going to come easily. I couldn't tell you a single Canadian that I know of who's just going to gladly give up their passports for some North American one that obviously is going to come with a lot of baggage of the U.S. empire. Of course, this is just a problem, reaction, solution scenario, because if Harper's wars of aggression continue under future prime ministers, and there's obviously no reason to suggest that they won't, well, then this prized Canadian passport's just going to be just as toxic as the American ones. And the world is just going to come to view Canada as just another arm of the American empire, and these passports are just going to cease to have any international value. But mostly, though, this CNN editorial is more about immigration and the 10 million or so Mexicans that are working and living illegally in the United States. This North American passport is supposed to end that debate, allowing illegals to stay. And since, hey, we're all part of this one big North American family, why not? But again, this is the idea coming of this North American Union passport. It's really just more of a fantasy than a reality at this point. Because like I said, right now we are winning this fight against the implementation of a North American Union. Although we're losing the battle on the trade agreements and the corporate status kind of backroom deals, we are winning on the ideological front. So having Canadians just give up their passports to share this common passport with Americans and Mexicans is a huge uphill battle for the elite, and I really don't think they're about to gain this kind of a stronghold anytime soon. So anyways, that's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching. Of course, I can't make a video talking about Mexico and not mention Anarchapulco, so please check it out. I'll put a link in the description. This is a conference that's coming up next month. It's going on in Mexico, and I'm really looking forward to it. I invite you guys to come check out the We Are Change University workshop, where Luke Radowski, along with myself and the one and only James Corbett, are going to be there teaching courses on how to be an independent journalist. And when you register for tickets, if you want to come attend the conference, you can actually save 10% off of the price right now if you use the promo code PFT. So we hope to see you there, guys. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We're going to have a lot more video reports coming very soon to pressfortruth.ca.